Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's a wintry wonderland behind me, just as promised. See, I do uphold my promises sometimes. Sometimes. I try. I just forget. So, today I'm using my new computer, so hopefully that works out all right. So, any suggestions are always welcome. I decided to test out some of the automatic noise reduction because usually a good chunk of the time I spend on editing these videos is through some noise reduction stuff. So if it sounds noisy still and you don't like the sound quality, just let me know and I'll, revert to my normal method. So just let me know. So yeah, I guess that's all I have for announcements. So let's get started. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk Because I Didn't Want People Calling My Wife Michael Anymore? My wife was supposed to be a boy. Her parents had picked out the name Michael for her, but, well, she wasn't a boy. However, for whatever reason, they made Michael her nickname, and everyone calls her that. Her name isn't Michael. When I met her, I found it kind of cute that everyone called her that. Now it's just annoying. Like you. Hardly anyone calls my wife her name. Her parents, her friends, her family, her coworkers. She'll tell complete strangers to call her Michael. Like I said, it's no longer cute, and it's just teeth grinding and annoying to hear that name thrown out around our marriage. I asked her if she can stop using the nickname or switch to a feminine nickname like Michelle, Michael. She shot me down, saying that Michael is her name. I told her, no, it's not. We got into a small argument where I pointed out that she's not taking my feelings into consideration here. I even once had someone ask me if my wife was trans because of the name Michael. She told me to leave the house and come out when I want to talk. It's my house too. In the end, my wife took a bag and went to her brother's house. I called once I thought she'd cool down, and again asked for the sake of her marriage for her to stop using that nickname. She hung up on me. I'm not asking much. I just don't want people calling my wife Michael anymore. Am I the jerk? So, I want to say first off, I know a woman named Tommy. That's her name. Legally her name is Tommy. I think we know the real crux of the problem here. He had this one person one time approach him and ask him if his wife was trans, and ever since then, I'm guessing he's been uncomfortable and is like, oh, now I have to, squelch this because I don't want people thinking the wrong thing about me in particular. At least that's the way I read it. What do you folks think? Do you think this is like a reasonable request here? Do you think that she should drop the nickname Michael? Personally, I don't see any harm in it. I really don't. If she wants to be called Michael, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being called Michael? And I think with that person who asked that question, why did they even need to know the answer to that question? It's none of their business, right? So I think that some people are just petty, mean people who have nothing better to do with their time than ask intrusive questions, and maybe they should keep their nose out of other people's business. I don't know. What do you folks think?
He's the jerk. It's her name.
Oh yeah, I think he's the jerk here. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I didn't find enough point on that. But yeah, I don't think that I think this is out of line. I think this is unreasonable. I think that while he does have feelings in this situation, I think that this is his wife's name for all intents and purposes. And when he met her, that's how she introduced herself. She didn't just, arbitrarily change her name one day and now he doesn't like the new nickname that she's chosen for herself. This is who she's always been and who she's identified as. And where are her feelings in consideration here? He now wants her to change her name after, a lifetime of having this name, and I think that's unreasonable. I really do. So anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk. Easiest answer to give is that it's a family joke. But you are so worried about your fragile ego and masculinity that the thought that you could be with a trans person is horrifying to you. Grow up. The only person who matters here is your wife, as it's her choice as to what to be called. If she's introducing herself and is perfectly happy with the name Michael, then that's that. End of story. This, You're the Jerk 100%. You're gonna lose your wife over a name. Shows how much you actually love her. She deserves so much better. I hope that she and her family put you where you belong. In the past. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Kissing My Husband at a Friend's Event? I'm a 37-year-old female and my husband, a 42-year-old male, attended my friend Becky, a 36-year-old female's, annual barbecue last weekend. Becky and I have been close friends since college. I met my husband shortly after graduating, and while him and Becky have never been close, such as hanging out with me, they have always been friendly towards one another, and we've all hung out on numerous occasions. Becky recently lost her husband due to medical issues, and we've all been devastated. This year, Becky texted me the day before her event and told me that she was making this year's occasion a child-free one, and that meant that I couldn't bring my 3-year-old, and that she understood if I couldn't make it. I bit my tongue in an effort to be respectful and thanked her for letting me know, and I told her that I wouldn't be able to make it. She responded by saying that she was looking forward to seeing my husband at dinner though. I saw no issue with this and sent her a thumbs up. The next morning was the day of Becky's event, and my mother-in-law luckily agreed to babysit our toddler. We thanked mother-in-law and headed over to Becky's with food, gifts, and no children in tow. As we walked in, Becky greeted my husband with a hug and excited hello, and then me with a sort of surprised look on her face. She didn't say much to me and went into her living room with everybody else. I went to put down the food on the counter while she introduced everybody to my husband and referred to him as dear. My husband told me this later on in the evening. I walked into the room and she gave me no mind since she was in a deep conversation with a friend of hers. Sometime into the party, Becky and my husband were both standing at the patio door and she had her arm around his waist. He spotted and looked at me with a help me glare, so I made my way over thinking that she had one too many. I gave him a kiss and he separated from her grasp. Becky looked at both of us and then back at the others of the party with a shocked expression, and then ran into the back of the house crying. She ran into the bedroom and locked the door and screamed at me to leave through the door. I tried asking her what upset her and why, and she wanted us to leave numerous times. She refused to answer me and just kept crying. So we left, and on the way out received some pretty dirty looks from the partygoers. Later, I received texts from several mutual friends who scolded me for the PDA and how Becky was so upset that I made her party look tacky, and that I was rubbing in her face that she was a widow. I was so shocked and hurt to hear this and mentioned that every other couple at the event was also being relatively affectionate, and despite my husband and I being the ones to commit the PDA in public, I had given him a side hug and a peck. Then that was it. Anyways, I'm at a loss as what I should do. I feel like I hurt a close friend, but I'm not sure how and what I can do to fix it. Reddit, help. Am I the jerk here? Whew. Alright, folks. What do you think of this situation?
Not the jerk. Becky wants Opie's husband.
You know, I don't know if it's so much that Becky wants Opie's husband as much as she wanted someone to kind of like be in the husband role for the evening. And I think that I mean hopefully this wasn't like a blatant kind of attempt at trying to steal Opie's husband. I'm trying to give Becky the benefit of the doubt here.
I'm not giving her any benefit.
I think that Becky is hurt. I think that she's confused. I think that she has a lot of baggage right now. And I think that she hopefully just for one night, wanted to envision her life with, having someone there in her life. And I think this was a delusion. I really do. I think that she's not handling her grief well. I think that she's probably needs to seek therapy and counseling because this doesn't sound like a healthy way at handling grief. And I think that's what this boils down to. I think that just from her reaction about how, when OP, tried to rescue her husband, I think that that was like just the cognitive dissonance kicking in. Like her whole world was just kind of like crumbling around her. Is kind of how I envision that situation happening and playing out in her mind. And that's sad. That's really sad. And I mean, I'm sure that this is a difficult situation on her, but it doesn't excuse her behavior. And there's nothing saying, not me. I'm not saying that, oh, she's perfectly entitled to try and like steal people's husbands for a day. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that she needs to seek help here because this just does not seem like a good or healthy way of processing her grief. And I think that she has a lot of grief to process here, and rightly so. So yeah, let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. I mean, it was so obvious that she was hitting on the husband. She's probably embarrassed and humiliated. OP should text her a fake apology. I'm so sorry that you got upset, but you see, husband signaled me to come and kiss him because he felt really trapped by you clinging to him. Then write off the friendship because it's already over. Yes, do this, and if she replies, come back with the screenies. A few notes. Firstly, it sounds like Becky needs to find some help. I don't think you did anything wrong, and her reaction is blown out of proportion. But your husband needs to stand up to her behavior also. All I read is Becky did this and Becky did that. Your husband can and should stand up to remove himself from an uncomfortable situation, not the jerk. And yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways the husband was kind of getting a free pass in this situation from OP. It sounds like OP didn't really address the core issues, and that was like the husband could have put an end to this at any point in time, and he may have just been like so struck by the situation where it was very hard to like react and know what to do. But I do think that he probably should have reacted a little bit differently and kind of like distanced himself from this, and potentially even like when she was like introducing people to OP's husband, if her husband had been like, oh yeah, and here's my wife over there in the back, that might have done a lot towards squelching this situation. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Not Wanting My Husband's Brother to Be in the Delivery Room? I'm currently 31 weeks pregnant with twins, one boy and one girl. My husband and I are both 21, and we are trying for a baby for about a year, but suddenly we fell pregnant. I've had a pretty rough pregnancy, and my brother-in-law is a medical student, so he's taken quite a lot of interest in my pregnancy and future delivery. We've always gotten along well. He's 24, I've known my husband's family since we were children, so we've pretty much grown up together. A few days ago, my husband told me that brother-in-law had expressed interest in being there as well while I was giving birth, mainly due to the benefit from the educational standpoint to see the natural birth multiple times. Mainly due to it being beneficial from an educational standpoint to see a natural birth or natural multiple birth, which is what I'm planning for. I know things can change on that front, but hoping for that. Also, my husband can have support as well as I have my mom. Worth mentioning that our hospital doesn't have a restriction on the amount of people who can be in the delivery room. I said absolutely not. There's no way that I'm allowing that. I'm not even overly keen on allowing my husband to watch me go through that, let alone his brother. He said it would be a good experience for him and his degree, and I said that is as much as I supported him. My experience of having a pleasant birth was my priority, as it should be. He got defensive and said that he should be allowed to have a support person too, which I suppose I do understand, but I really just feel uncomfortable about it all. He said that it was just as much his right as it was mine to have somebody support him. It basically turned into a huge argument, with his brother and mom being dragged into it too. Am I the jerk? Update. Thank you so much for the time taking to comment and message me. I really support it. I would have responded to more, but it's been quite overwhelming. My husband and I have discussed this pretty much everything and have decided that he and my brother-in-law will not be in the delivery room. He's not exactly elated, but agreed that he wants me to be the priority. He will be in the waiting room with everyone else. Thanks again. Alright, well, it sounds like that resolved itself. I mean, the husband's excuse here. If he really wanted to be in the delivery room, he should have made his wife's needs the priority here. And I mean, while it would have been a good experience for the brother-in-law to potentially have like experience firsthand, a natural birth, it really needs to be up to the mother whether she's comfortable with that or not. And she clearly wasn't comfortable with it. Why did he continue to press this? And the whole idea that he needs a support. OP, your husband was supposed to be your support system. The support system that needs a support system. Look, like, I understand, like, if you're in a scary situation, it's good to have someone there and to support you. But the thing is that OP's husband was getting kind of off on the easy part because he's not the one giving birth. He's not the one going through the medical procedure. He just has to be there to, while OP does that. And I mean, I think that is the key thing here. He's not the one who needs the support system. And while, yeah, it's good to have family and stuff like that, this isn't really what this is all about. So yeah, I don't think OP's the jerk in this situation. I think her husband is misguided at best. Not the jerk, I'm actually creeped out that your brother-in-law wants to be there. This is just something so wrong about it. You're the one who is about to have your V ripped apart while two humans shove their head and shoulders through it. Where you say goes. Do not give in on this. Congratulations on having twins, and I wish you a smooth labor and delivery. And OP says, thank you very much. And I mean, I kind of disagree on that point. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to see a birth from a medical educational standpoint. I don't think that there's any lewd intent here. I mean, I think that he just sounds like he's interested in his profession, and that's a good thing. But not everyone is going to be as excited for his education as he is. And I think that that's important to recognize and, and plus, he's not her doctor. And I think that this would set kind of a bad precedent in some ways. Because, like, if he suddenly starts feeling like he's OP's doctor, then he might start giving unwanted medical advice and stuff like that. And I do think that kind of sets a dangerous precedent. I really do. So I think that kind of squelching this at the head is probably a good thing. So to prevent future misunderstandings, let's put it that way. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for not wanting to take my niece and nephew to Disney with me and my girlfriend? Using a throwaway as my girlfriend knows my Reddit and I don't want to spoil the surprise. So I'm a 31-year-old female and my girlfriend is a 32-year-old female and we are planning a trip to Disneyland Paris. Not anytime soon, with the pandemic still going, editing to include this as some people were concerned. It's not as big as, say, Florida, but it's closer to us. It's both of our first times going, and my girlfriend is obsessed with Disney. It's where I'm planning on proposing to her to make it more special. My sister knows that I'm planning on proposing, as she helped me pick out the ring, and she is very supportive until she found out where I was planning on proposing. She doesn't approve of it, as we're not kids, and has stated that we are not children and it's weird, and how I wanted to go there. If I wanted to go there, I should take her kids who are 10 and 6. I love my niece and nephew, but this is a special trip for me and my girlfriend. Let's hope you're not kids if you're proposing to each other. I explained this to my sister and I thought that she understood. But next time I was over seeing her and her kids, they were upset as she had told them about the Disney trip and that they couldn't understand why I wouldn't take them. I tried to console them, but I felt very put on the spot and upset by this. I ended up leaving not long after this, and my sister kept badgering me to take the kids, and now they're so upset. The worst part is that my girlfriend is starting to feel guilty and wondering if I should just take the kids with us. I can't explain to her why I'm so angry right now, as I want to make this a special thing for her. All right, folks, what do you think about this one?
Very much not the jerk.
What is wrong with OP's sister in this situation? She lots of adults go to Disneyland. I mean, that's just kind of, Disneyland is one of those places that can be enjoyed by lots of different people. You do not have to be a special magical age in order to enjoy it. I don't even think Disney wants people to feel that way because they get a lot of business from people who have no kids. So I think that your sister is being entitled and just kind of wants a free babysitter and a free vacation for her kids. I think that she's being an entitled mom. I really do. I think that this is not cool of her at all. So I don't think you're a jerk here, OP. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, your sister is a gigantic jerk. If she wants her kids to experience Disney, she can take them whenever she wants. To tell her kids about Disney with you is emotional abuse. She is terrible. Not the jerk, you are not obligated to take her kids with you at any time you go on vacation, especially when it's a romantic vacation with your girlfriend. This is plain entitlement. She thinks that she can control you. When you don't comply with her wishes, she disparages you and says that it's ridiculous that you go there as adults, alongside other unprompted insults. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.